One of the most fascinating things about the Megillah Esther is after you read the whole story of the Megillah, and you know, especially according to Chassidus, how there is soidas hidden points in every word of the Megillah, and there's no mention of Hashem in the Megillah and all these things, but yet it's very. The Gemara says Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. Every word here is Ruach HaKodesh. Anybody know from where in the Megillah could you prove that there is Esther was Baruch HaKodesh? Very good. Vayomer Haman Baliboy. It says, and Haman in his heart were thinking, so the Gemara says in Megillah, Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. When you finish reading the Megillah, you find a very, very funny statement. In the last parak, there's a parak that only has, 3 psukim. It says, Vayosem HaMelech Achashverosh Shmas Al Hayom V'iyeh Hayom. Achashverosh placed a tax. Listen to the next pasuk. V'chol Masay Tokvoy Ugvorosay. And all the might and strength of whatever took place, the history of this story during those times. U'paroshas Gedulas Mordechai. Asher Gidlei HaMelech. How Mordechai became famous and how Mordechai was powerful, etc., etc. The next 5-6 words is shocking. Halohem ksuvim al sefer divrei hayamim lemalchei modai uparas. You should know, in the history books of Malchei Modai Uparas, there is many chapters explaining the story, describing the whole story of what took place during that time. What? So what is this pasuk saying? Is this pasuk saying that every one of us has to start learning Divrei Hayom, history of Malchei Modai Uparas? And if it's not saying that, why would the pasuk give you a reference? Oh, if you want to know about Mordechai and Esther and you want to know the whole story, that it's described in Divrei Hayom from Malchei Modai Uparas. It's very funny. Since when does Torah make a reference to history books? Divrei Hayomim lemalchei modai uparas. This question is asked by many mefarshim. One of the mefarshim says that over here in the Megillah Esther, even like we say, it's Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. It's basically 10 prakim. That's condensed the story, chick chak. A condensed story, what's negeya to us. Oh, if you want to study details, you got to study history. Now that's the answer the Vilna Gaon gives. The problem with that answer, which Mefarshim ask, even if it is that way, why would the Torah make a reference? Hey, go to the library and go check out Divrei Hayomim from Malchei Modai Uparas. It doesn't make sense. Why would the Megillah even say that? So there's another beautiful pshat. The next beautiful pshat is, you finish reading the story of the Megillah. You're finishing the Megillah. And a person might say to himself, I just read history. Lahavdil Elef Avdalas. You could read history, American history. You could read French history. You could read Persian history. And I just read a piece of history, 10 chapters of history. Says the Megillah, no, history? Go to the library. If you're looking for Ma'aseh Tokvay Gvurasai about the history of what took place, that you go to Malchei Modai Divrei Hayomim. This ain't no history book. Megillah Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. Every word in the Megillah is a Ha'ira, and the Rebbe in many sichos proves, and the Gemara says that everything about Melech is referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's hidden secrets. If you're looking for history, this is not a history book. This is Ruach HaKodesh, word for word. We have to take some lessons, take some of this. It's not just a story you fall asleep on. Reb Nachum Breslev used to say, if anybody knows that he wrote, one of his svarim he wrote was Sipurei Maisis, a storybook. And a storybook, a couple of stories. And he used to say, the Welt sagt, that the world says that you read stories before you go to sleep, because a story makes you fall asleep. My stories don't make you fall asleep. My story make you wake up. That was his. Perhaps you could use that here. If you want to read history and fall asleep, go to the library. Shh. You can fall asleep nicely in the library. When you read the Megillah Esther, whoa, another Doshnas HaMelech. You can't sleep. There's so much here that you have to learn about. Okay, so I remember a couple of weeks ago there was a debate between two giant Talmidei Chachamim in the shul, and the debate was when things are not going that well, and it's on the way. It's on the way. Baruch Hashem, things are getting better. Is there yet reason to celebrate, or you don't celebrate till it's over? It ain't over till it's over, right? So I want to read you a pasuk in the Megillah Esther. This is Perek Dalid, pasuk Perek Dalid, pasuk Yud Beis. I'm looking in the wrong place. Perek Dalid, pasuk Yud Beis. Is that right? No, not Perek. Actually, Perek. What am I reading here? Perek Vav pasuk Yud Beis. Perek Vav pasuk Yud Beis. So this is already the first parts of the Megillah talks about the trouble, Vashti, and then Bixam Viserys. Then Esther, Baruch Hashem, becomes the queen, and it starts looking good, even though Haman is being nasty, right? And now in Perek Vav, I want to tell you, is already where Esther is a full-fledged Malka. She's already inviting Haman to the party, and it's leading up to the story of the victory. In between, right before that, talks about where Esther saved Achashverosh's life by Mordechai telling Esther what Bixam Viserys wanted to do. And it looks good. We have our foot in the door. So the pasuk says, so Achashverosh gave Haman the terrible smack in the face. Take the levush, take the sus of the melech, and go take Mordechai around town. Wow, we're halfway home, right, Rabbi? We're halfway home. Says the pasuk, Vayoshav, after Haman got this major smack in the face, Vayoshav Mordechai el Shar HaMelech. I'm sorry. Vayoshav Mordechai el Shar HaMelech. This is a pasuk right after. Vayikach Haman es levush v'sasus vayalbesh es Mordechai. Haman took the garment, dressed Mordechai in the royal clothes. Vayarkiveo berchay vayir. Right, we all know the biggest smack in the face to Haman. The next pasuk says, Vayoshav Mordechai el Shar HaMelech. Mordechai comes back to the Shar HaMelech, and then the second part of the pasuk, Haman goes back to his house all tziklopt. Oy, I'm getting beaten from these Jews. I'm falling, and then the rest happens. What does the first couple of words mean? Vayoshev Mordechai el Shar HaMelech. So Rashi says, Yud Beis, Vayoshev Mordechai l'sakoi l'ta'anisoi. Hey, it's looking good. Haman just got a smack in the face. Esther is in there. We have all the connection in the world that we need. What's going on? So Rashi said, where did Mordechai go? Shar HaMelech doesn't mean he didn't go to celebrate. He went back, put on his sack, back to fasting. It ain't over till it's over. Until I see the money in the bank. Until I see the Jews. I'm waiting for Chris. Until I see the final Yeshua, I'm back to my fasting. I'm back to my learning. I'm back to my tinus. I'm back to the sack. Because that's the way a Yid knows how you are able to change a Haman. There is no other way to change the Haman. The way to change the Haman, even if it's looking good. Yeah? Even if it's very good. What does Esther want? Esther invites Haman once. Esther invites Haman a second time. And the question all the Mefarshim are bothered with, if you have your foot in the door and you're already the queen, Why wouldn't the first time Esther was called in by Achashverosh say, my dear husband, I have a troublemaker. Get rid of him. No, she has to build it up. Come to a party today, and the first time it wasn't good either. Come to a party a second time. Why is she stretching it out? Meanwhile, everybody's sitting on shpilkes. Klal Yisrael is sitting on shpilkes because Rahman al-Atzlan, there was a gzeira on their head. Because Esther realizes that the tightness, the devotion to Hashem has to be real dedicated. And there's many mefarshim to this. It's the connection that a Yid makes with the Eibishter. And if the stronger the connection a Yid makes to the Eibishter, with tightness in the old-fashioned times, today's days we don't do tightness, but in Limud HaTorah, in Chassidus, in Miftzayim, whatever it is, that's what makes it or breaks it. No springen and tanzen and luften in the Welt. That's number one. So, what is the end of the story? The end of the story is that everything was changed over miyogain l'simcha. Miyogain l'simcha. What's your name? Yeah. Yeshaya. Rabbi Ben, could you write it? Please spell out the words miyogain. Spell out the words l'simcha. You have a miyogain. Mem yud gimel. Big, very big. So everybody say Mem, Yud, Gimel, Vav, Langanon. And then do a little further, do Lis Simcha. Okay, everybody in the class, please, what's the gematria of Miyogain? Huh? You start, write the gematria on top. What? 109. Miyogain is 109. Lis Simcha is what? Lis Simcha. No.
Let's sit right in there. It's 300 before you start.
No.
302.
No.
370.
370.
379. No, 393.
380.
Should be 383.
Yeah.
383. All right. Who's your math teacher? Take 109 off of 383. Take 109 off of 383. No?
383 minus. You, right there.
Try it. 383 minus 109.
274.
You came with a calculator? Nobody uses the head anymore? All right.
274?
Right, 274 in the middle. What's the significance of 274? A calculator. Spell Mordechai.
Mem Reish.
Moim, Reish, Dalid, Chaf, Yud. Spell it out. Now, how much is Mordechai?
274.
So who was able to change over the day from Yogain? How do you translate Yogain in Goyish? From Avelus. No, how do you translate? From bad. From mourning. That's Avel. I don't know if Yogain is Avel. With Simcha to happiness, Mordechai. Now, obviously, you know, the Rebbe has many sichas. Why from all the people in the story of Hanukkah? Why from all the people in the story of Hanukkah, then the Megillah is called Megillas Esther? Why not Megillas Esther and Mordechai? So the simple answer is that the whole Gemara says that Esther. You're not done yet. Okay, I'll ask somebody else now. I have another one. Esther was the one that said to the Chachamim, Kavuni l'dairis. Chanukah, there's no Megillah. There's a Megillah Antiochus, but we don't have a Megillah that we read. Who made Megillah? Esther is one of the Ksuvim, right? There's Nevi'im and Ksuvim, and Esther became one of the Ksuvim. And Megillah Antiochus, if you read it or not, is not one of the Ksuvim. Who pushed that this should be a day of celebration and this should be a day of reading and always remembering? Esther. So that's why it's called Megillah Esther. And one of the I heard a shir from a Lubavitcher Mashpia. He said, I don't know if he quoted from the Rebbeim, but he said that's interesting that Purim, from all the Yomim Tovim we have, Purim is the biggest yontif that everybody in the family is involved. The kids are involved, the wife is involved, the father is involved. More than any other yontif, we find Purim is for everybody. Obviously, everybody is involved in the Yeshua, But since even though the Megillah is called Megillah Esther, she did everything that Mordechai taught her. The Megillah keeps on saying she didn't say her where she's born. She didn't say her identity, that she's Jewish, which is a question. Why? And the pasuk keeps on stressing, Asher tzivo Mordechai. Just whatever Mordechai said, she did. So you have to be connected to Mordechai. When you are connected to the Rebbe, to Mordechai, then you change miyogain simcha. From yod, by being connected to a Mordechai, in our generation, the Rebbe, by being connected, all yogain, all troubles get to simcha. Now, Yitzchak, right? Let's do another one. Erase this, please. Now, when do we usually have Purim? Purim is in the 14th day of Adar. You know, most of you are bar mitzvah, so you know that the Parshas HaTorah are always set up, and certain things have to happen before certain Parshas have to be read before certain events. You know which ones? Parshas Bamidbar is always before Shavuos. The Teichacha is always a week before Rosh Hashanah. You don't want to finish off the Teichacha at the end of the year right before Rosh Hashanah. There are certain things that it's systematic, and Rabbi Zalman remembers the system. You know who else is brilliant in this? Levi Feller is brilliant on the system. He'll tell you, I know a specific person that he had a baby, and the day he had a baby, it was a girl, and he said, oh, the Bas Mitzvah is in Shabbos. He knew already at 12 years later, the Bas Mitzvah will be in Shabbos. Because you need a special head for this. So, and Parshas Tzav is most of the time before Pesach, because it talks about Hagolas Kalim, or somewhere around there. The Parsha of Hagolas Kalim is always, Kasher and Kalim is always before Pesach. There is a whole system. So Purim, in a regular year, is always besmichas to Parshas Tetzaveh. So put the word Tetzaveh on. Okay, now let me try again. Put the jumbo Tetzaveh. That's if it is a regular school year. What's if it's a leap year? Then it's usually besmichas to Parshas Tzav. All right, calculators. Tetzaveh.
400.
No, 501.
So write 501.
91.
And 91. 97.
96.
96. Sorry, 96. Well, you just do whatever I tell you. You don't think yourself.
Asher my Mordechai Atzivo.
96. 501 and 96.
Mine?
No, together.
What do you calculate for that? 597.
So write 597. Big, jumbo. Please write over here, write Haman Hamdasa.
Big. Haman. Can I spell Hamdasa?
Nope.
Dalid,
No.
Saf, not Samach, Saf.
Yeah.
Aleph. Calculators. What's it? Haman Hamdasa. Try to do it.
Mantra?
Yeah.
452.
597. All of it?
Yeah. 550? It's supposed to be
You
501.
get tzaddik instead of dollar. Probably.
It's 501, exactly.
You counted it?
Nope.
Okay, here.
Soft is 4.
Here, 54, 95,
Oh,
right? 95 and Hamdasa. 95 plus 440, 449, 450. 450. It should be 501. The bottom line, it should be 501.
It's 631.
Are we spelling Hamdasa wrong?
No. Could you verify it? I 597. It should be 597. Should be
Okay.
It is 597. What's the point? The point is it 597, Beryl? What is the remez? It just shows you.
It's 595.
Okay, everybody together. 5 plus 40 plus 50 is what?
95.
95. 5 plus 40 is 45 plus 4 is 49. 449, 450.
545.
Yeah, 545.
545 plus 96. It's not 545. You're wrong. It's fine. It should be 5
plus 40 plus 50 plus 5 plus 40 plus 4 plus 400 plus 1 is 545.
It's 545. It's supposed to come out to 597.
505.
Did I have it? I just saw that. I just saw that part. My point was that they bring a raya from this pasuk that in. You have 545. They bring a raya from this pasuk that already in the setup of when Purim is, we're already setting it up to erase.
Haman ben Hamdasa.
Does that make sense? Does it go?
That's another 52. 545 plus 52.
596.
Too much. 596? We need 597.
597. It's 597.
Okay. Haman ben Hamdasa. Doc. Yeah, I wrote actually ben Hamdasa. I didn't realize. Haman ben Hamdasa is 597. So Purim, whatever year you fall out, already, you know, the Gemara says that when Haman came to Achashverosh and gave him the certain amount of money to buy, you can sit down, buy Bnei Yisrael, so he should be able to do the punishment, Rahman al-Than, there's a certain amount of money. But, yeah? You know the Gemara, besides for the famous Gemara, that the Eibusha says, if you didn't give Machzis HaShekel, we are going to Hikdim Shikleihem L'Shiklav. That by giving Machzis HaShekel in the Mishkan, the time of the Mishkan, that stucker outdid the Shekalim that's to prevent that the Haman's Shekalim should have any effect. The Eibusha was Makdim Refuah L'Maka. And the Mefarshim, a fascinating thing. You look in the Mefarshim, I don't know if you know the calculation. How many shkalim were given in the Mishkan, and how much is Aseres Alafim Kikar Kesef that Haman gave? It's mamish the same exact amount. And the Eibishter was makdim refuah l'maka by telling the Yidden to give tzedakah to outsmart the Haman. So even just the setup of when Purim could be is also telling us a Haman is all gained there. And the last thing I want to tell you is a very beautiful word. By the story of Vashti, it says, and a lot of people like to misinterpret this. The pasuk says that Achashverosh was celebrating, and the pasuk says, how was he celebrating? Right in the beginning, Perek Aleph pasuk Ches, says the pasuk, Va'ashasiya kadas. Drinking, and he's saying, actually, it doesn't say the food. It's funny, the Mefarshim Taka asks, he doesn't say if they were serving sushi, or they were serving, what are the other Mishnah guys now? Tatar, what the, Tatar. It doesn't say the food, it only says about the drink. It doesn't say about a band. The Mefarshim asked the question. It doesn't say if there was music. It speaks about the cloth and the benches and the whatever, and Vashsia, and the cups. So anyway, I'm not going to go there. So what does the pasuk say? Vashsia kados ein oines, that the drinking was kados. What does kados mean? Says Rashi, that there are times that people go to a bar and talk l'chaim. You don't say l'chaim in a bar, right? And that people force others to drink. No, nobody was forced. There are people that can drink. You don't have to drink. Same over here. Here, ein oines, nobody's forcing you to drink. And Vashia kados ein oines, ki chen yisad hamelach al kol av beisei lasis ketzoyin ishvish. So there's a beautiful lesson that I want you to live with, and I'll leave with this lesson. Vashia kados. Chazal say ein mayim ela Torah. Liquid. A lot of the good liquids are compared to Torah. Mayim comes from makom gavoya to makom namach, comes from very high. Goes down to the lowest place, the water will drip. The Torah came from Shemayim, comes down to whoever wants to learn Torah could learn Torah. The Eibusha says it's open, it's hefker, anybody could learn Torah. Shemayim is compared to Torah, Yayin is compared to Torah, all good liquids are compared to Torah. Cholov is compared to Torah, Cholov with Vashtach, all good liquids are compared to Torah. right? So Mahashia, you're in school here, yeah? Drinking, learning Torah is kados. If you learn it properly, ain't earnest. Nobody, don't learn Torah because somebody's forcing you. Get out of the house. I don't want you at home. I want you in school. Torah ain't tziva hamelech. That's what Hashem wants. I'm coming to do Hashem's will. I know as a Fruma Yid I have to learn Torah. Nobody's forcing me. It's not a Yochanan from cup. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Kechein tziva hamelech. If that's how you learn Torah, if that's your motivation to learn Torah, kechein yisach hamelech, then the Eibishter promises la sois kirtzoin ish v'ish. The Eibishter promises whatever you want, whatever your ratzin is, you're going to get. So remember, the main story of Purim is Kimu v'kiblu haYehudim aleim. The Yidden were mekabel again Torah mitzvahs. So of course you have to be happy. If you're depressed, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, depressed, you can't, even if you're a big booming wrestler, a sumo wrestler, a little whip could push you over if you're depressed. So you have to be happy. But don't forget, the most important part is when do you get the brachas of the Eibush? The Eibush will give you what you need. Is Kibla Yehudim, and you accept upon yourself to do everything v'simcha Torah, to be committed to Yiddishkeit, to be committed to the Mordechai, and medem v'zayin la Yehudim haisa erev v'simcha.